Welcome, everybody. I have a special guest today. Now, her journey is phenomenal. Her story, I think you're going to get a lot out of. So, Kristine Kapatos, the founder, president of Muddy Water Digital Marketing and Muddy Water Wellness, which I do want to get into. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, my pleasure. I'm really excited. This is my first official podcast.
Official podcast, right?
Yeah,
As opposed to the unofficial ones that you
exactly.
can exactly. Well, look,
Yeah,
I hope it lives up. I was telling you just before we hit the record button. I've done some homework. I've done a little research, right? There's a lot of stuff that you put out that I'm like, okay, let's kind of pick this apart and like really hear you talk about it, right?
sure.
So let's kind of go for it, man. Let's
Yeah,
kind
I'm
of hear it.
excited.
All
That's
right. So let's go back. And I love talking about people's journeys and kind of how they got there. And I always have, like, not everybody, but some folks I have on have started their own business, and you have, but you weren't there in the beginning. You were what I would call, in most would call, a traditional sales role. Is that right?
yeah.
And then things changed, right? So you were, and if I get this right, if we're wrong, correct me. You were number one in the region, you're number three in the company, and all of a sudden it ended. Like, what happened? And like, talk me through, I guess, where your mind was and kind of how you shifted away from that into kind of all the success you're having now.
Yeah. It's definitely an interesting story. I actually, ironically enough, like embarrassingly enough, thought that they were bringing me onto a Zoom to like sing
Mhm.
my praises and give me a raise. And then, yeah, like quickly I jumped on the Zoom and realized that the energy was not like not positive. And yeah, I was let go and it didn't really, or I was laid off.
Yeah.
They laid off 50% of their sales team, and I was really just like confused and shocked and sad. And I was really, really happy there. And I had a business previously. So this is my digital marketing business is my third business, but I had a first business that I unincorporated because I was going to pursue tech sales.
Mm-hmm.
So I had unincorporated this business. I had kind of, moved around a little bit in the tech industry trying to find my home. Finally felt like I found my home, did really well, kicked a bunch of asses, and then got let go. And it really rocked my world because I had put so much of my identity. I think a lot of people watching this can probably relate. Like, so much of our identities are our achievements and our careers.
Yeah.
If you're on LinkedIn, like that's obviously some sort of piece of you. And so, yeah, it was really tough.
Yeah. So I mean, how long did it take you? And I think I had it written down here among my scribble that I think I saw that, but I forgot about it. You did have something and kind of unwound it and kind of went a little bit. But how long did it take you to get over that, that shock, right? Of saying, okay, this happened. Now we got to pick ourselves up and move on and do something. How long did that take?
I mean, it was definitely, well, so it was months, like until I decided to pivot.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I did a ton of interviewing and some things, were kind of in the works. I had one role in particular that was supposed to pan out and it didn't. And so that was like really crushing too. So it was like, there were ups and downs, and I was really just trying to find my role in the tech industry. Meanwhile, I had my wellness business, which had always kind of been like a side hustle, a passion project of mine, that I was like that I was going all in on while trying to, find my new full-time role. And neither were really just going the way that I wanted them to go. And I was looking to scale my wellness business, and I didn't have the skills. I didn't know anything about email marketing. I didn't know anything about social media marketing, really, I could kind of write a little bit because I went to school for writing, but there's just so much nuance into the online world, and like funnels and lead magnets and all these exciting things that are so useful for business owners to scale online. I just didn't know. And so it was either pay someone, $5,000 to build me a website for my business, or learn how to do it myself. And so in August, I ended up investing, way less to learn than it would have been to pay someone to do it. And my digital, I really just love it. And I have a passion for helping other people in business. And so my digital marketing business has kind of taken off a little bit.
That's awesome. Now, if I read correctly, again, I can just go through and I'm like, all right, let's see what you wrote about, right? Which I love. You said it was like 3 weeks of like immersing yourself in these classes and learning SEO and learning all that. And like, I am a non-tech guy, but when I read that, I was like, well, hell, maybe I can do it, right? And just learn, just have the knowledge, right? So, I mean, were you starting from, you said you already had a business, so maybe you were starting from a higher point, but did you just go in there like not knowing a whole lot and just diving headfirst into all the stuff that you mentioned for those 3 weeks?
I had a business, but it was kind of a brick and mortar,
Mm-hmm.
and more of like a staffing, and I had supporting staff. And so, yeah, I definitely had like a foundation of business. I think if you've worked for a business, a company, even as an employee, you probably have more business acumen than you probably think for how things have to work. Like, but yeah, like my fiance says I have the technology skill set of a baby boomer, like, because that's how, no offense to my baby boomers, I
No
love,
offense to the papers out there. Still, keep listening, keep going. Don't worry about it.
no offense to them out there, but yeah, I mean, even Gen X, like that, I mean, technology, right? Like, I'm a millennial, but technology hasn't been around for forever. Like, it's really only exploded with AI and all these apps, like within the last few years. And so I was really, really surprised at how quickly I was able to learn the skills and implement them, as somebody who really did not think of herself as a tech person, and was ready to pay somebody like a lot of money, to not do it. But yeah, like it's such a great foundation to have for your business, even if you outsource it, and you have a digital marketing or a social media marketing manager that helps you, it's still really great to have an understanding of search engine optimization and lead generation and automated business tools and ways that you can streamline your business. And that way, when you have a foundation, when those sketchy digital marketing agencies want to charge you $1,000 for something that takes them literally 10 minutes to do, because it is kind of a mystery, it's like, you're like, oh, I don't know how to do this, I guess I just have to pay. And it's like, well, no, you really don't. You could just learn the skill and do it.
I mean, I love it. Like, I mean, from reading that, it was, hey, I interviewed, and then you said, hey, you know what? The universe is not saying that I should head to a job. It's saying that, okay, I got it. Let's go. And, so like, I always love asking this question to all my folks who have these new companies, and you're scaling and you're doing so well, but like what'd you learn? Like, what surprised you along the way that you didn't know kind of coming into this, in terms of this new baby company that you're taking from, off the ground to where it is now, like only a year old, but still doing well. Like, what'd you learn really in that year?
Yeah. Like, from when I was laid off and
Mm-hmm.
lost my job to
Mm-hmm.
now, like,
Mm-hmm.
what's the one thing that I've learned?
Yeah.
Um, it really, I mean, there's a million things like I could talk about, business strategies
Mm-hmm.
and, like, technical things I've learned and mistakes I've made. But I really, as like cliche as it sounds, it really just boils down to your mindset and what you think you're capable of doing.
Mm.
And it's really, really easy to say that oh, I believe in myself, but like, there was this crazy statistic, I think I posted it the other day, or it's in my draft somewhere, but it was like, everybody has 60 to 80,000 thoughts a day, and 75 to 80% of them are negative. And it's limiting beliefs, and it's self-doubt, and it's, one of my clients we were talking about it, and she was like, yeah, like I used to think I had so much confidence. And then looking back, I realized it took me 26 years to go after my dream career, because the whole time I thought I was this confident person, but I was just shoving these desires into the back drawer, the back of this drawer, making excuses and finding reasons not to do it instead of doing it in spite of those reasons. And it's just little things every day. I think even like, oh no, I don't feel like going and taking my dog a walk, or just the stories that we tell ourselves about, oh, I'm lazy, or oh, I can't get up early, or oh, I can't, I don't have time, and all these things. So
You said
yeah.
it with like emphasis on that one. That last one's like, okay, but have you always been that way?
Um,
Did you always have the mindset? I mean, because obviously you're talking about it from a perspective of having a positive mindset and having that belief in yourself. Were you
yeah.
always that way?
No, that's why I'm saying, like, that's the number one thing that I've learned. I thought I was a confident person, but really the confidence was just really competitiveness and, wanting that bravado and being outspoken. But when it came down to it, I still had fears and self-doubts. Like I think when people, I'm my worst critic, like most of us are, and so yeah, the things we tell ourselves that we can't do, they really hold us back. And it's really linked to, I think, a blind faith that I have in God, that has really also grown over the past year, of really just having to surrender and have total blind faith. And it's we all are on our journeys, and I'm super blessed to have always kind of been spiritual, but especially just with the lows that I've experienced over the last, couple years, different things. Um, yeah, I lost my confidence, and I kind of just got to this place where I was like down on my knees, and just praying. And my prayers were answered. So,
It's
yeah.
amazing. Look, and you've been open. You're kind of taking me to where I wanted to go, and I go to church. Sometimes I watch church on TV. I don't know if that counts. I think it
Oh my God,
counts,
that
right?
counts. Yeah.
I mean, I'm hoping it counts, but no, I'm just kidding. But the I mean, I saw that in kind of what you put out there, and obviously that's a lot of people are like, hey, I don't want to cross that line. Right. I don't want to talk on my faith in terms of LinkedIn. I don't want to put that's a separate side of me that's not on the business side. I don't want to cross that line. Did
Yeah.
that ever cross your mind when you were kind of looking at what you put on LinkedIn and what you don't, be it faith or your engagement? Congratulations, by the way.
Thanks.
Or we'll come back to that. Oh, yeah, I saw that bling on your hand. I mean, you don't hide it. We'll come back to that, by the way. But did it ever cross your mind of, hey, you know what? I don't want people to kind of see that part of me.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, especially like in my first business, there was such a disconnect between who I showed up as at work, as a boss, versus like the person that I really, really was. And I didn't
Mm,
really have like the strongest relationship with God at that point. Like I wouldn't say that that was kind of at the forefront, of what was going on in my life. Um, and so yeah, but no, I mean, at this point in my life, like I just for so many years have been living my life kind of as somebody that, like, I'm not necessarily being my 100% authentic self because of judgment and fear, right? That I'm like casting on myself, self-judgment. And so yeah, like I think I just got to the point where I just stopped giving a shit like what people think, and trying to please everybody in my business, and realizing that if me talking about my blind faith that I had in God that transformed into blind faith I had in myself, if that turns somebody off, then like that's not my ideal client anyway, because my spirituality is so interwoven and my heart is so interwoven into my business that like I would have to pretend to not have this really strong faith, right? And not sharing that wouldn't be authentic and it would be ultimately holding my business back. Um, so yeah.
That's really damn good. Damn, that's good. Okay. All right. That is really good. So I'll tell you what, I mean, just sharing that right there. Hell, I was kind of listening and not thinking about my next question, quite honestly. So that's awesome. All right, let's go in a little bit into your business. And I want to come back to mindset here in a bit, but I want to make sure I get to a little bit in terms of some things I saw out there on Chat GPT that you were kind of talking on, obviously, right? And we get to your viral thing as well. But also, you had said, and I wrote this down because I couldn't believe it, but I want you to make sure I'm not like dreaming this. You said 1 in 6 Americans make money online.
Mm-hmm.
Is that, I hate to say true, but am I getting that right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's, I mean, you can Google it, it's not,
Well,
I don't know, like,
that's great. You can Google it, Dave. Yeah, I mean, I got
yeah.
you. I mean, it's that many?
Yeah, I thought that that was not a lot, actually.
Really?
How simple it is to make money online. Yeah. Like it should be way more, especially people that have businesses. Like it's crazy to think that, like, I wonder what it is, like how many Americans have businesses and how many of those businesses actually generate passive revenue online. It's a really, really small percentage, which is crazy.
Wow. Now let's go, I guess, a little bit into and I saw I want to get a little bit into this with you from you talking about helping people create a course, helping people, take what they're passionate on, what they're experts in, what they can relay the knowledge to people on, and creating this. Is that part of your program or piece of helping people just create that whole thing and not almost kind of what you were saying, not understanding how to do it, but you kind of help them, bridge that gap? Is that
Yeah.
part of what you can do?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, business owners, right? Like, absolutely, business owners that have been in business for 5, 10, 15, 30 years have like decades of experience and expertise, like that they want to, you can only touch so many lives in a week, but you can touch way more if you create a digital product or your high ticket coaching, whatever your formula is or your method, and you wrap it up in a nice little bow in a course and you blast it out to the World Wide Web. Like you can reach way more people and it's passive and it's really fun to wake up to payment notifications overnight from someone in Australia that purchased my AI course.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's not just for business owners. Like I mentor and have clients who have also made that career pivot, that are now full-time digital marketers that are also kind of doing what I'm doing, taking on small business clients, going in with those technical skills. But then also I have clients that are stay-at-home moms that don't work, that,
Love it.
create passive income from the expertise they have. I have a client that she has 3 kids under 3.
Oh,
Part-time job. So she made this course just about talking about motherhood and about mindset and all of these things. And she makes a lot of money doing these things. So, and that's turned into high ticket coaching. And so yeah, I mean, like we need as American people multiple income streams, like just period. And if you think you're safe at your 9 to 5 job that you've been at for 10 years, where you're a VP or director or whatever, I have another client that had never been more sure that she was safer. And she was recently laid off after being one of the only regional VPs to hit her team's quota was laid off. So it's like it can hit anybody. And I wish that I would have started sooner. Like I wish that I would, yeah, I wish I just would have started sooner instead of spending 9 months like on a hamster wheel interviewing. While I was interviewing, I just wish I would have invested more into creating something that can't be taken away from me.
Interesting. It's interesting. Do you think, and we're seeing a lot of people, and I've purchased some of the content. I think it's really good for some of the content I've purchased. Do you think that's why we're seeing more people on LinkedIn do do their own course or do their own like training programs or do their own, cohorts or whatever it may be? Do you think that's part of it?
Yeah, and I see so many 9 to 5ers like scoffing at it, like these like people that are in tech, like I have people I'm literally thinking of that like talk shit about LinkedIn influencers and people trying to monetize their LinkedIn. I'm like, well, you can call me whatever you want. I'll laugh all the way to the bank because how can you not monetize social media in 2024? So yeah, like it's it's so possible, and especially on LinkedIn because there's people who want to learn and are willing to invest. And also 9 to 5ers that aren't like super happy.
Yeah.
Um, so it would be foolish to not monetize it, in my opinion.
It's interesting. Well, I have come out and I posted on this and saying I didn't know how I felt, right? A piece of me understood it, and a piece of me felt like I was taking the people who came with me when I had 2,000, followers, and now I have 16,000, or I have, something, and I'm kind of monetizing it. And to me, it felt, I don't know, it just felt odd at first. And I think I'm coming around to it. I think, like, I mean, I'm just being honest with you, right? Like, I think that I can see it. And someone said, and they put it in an interesting way. They were doing a newsletter as well as their monetization. And they said, you know what? All these people you have right now are gone. If something happens and LinkedIn goes away, those people are gone. Whereas if you have a newsletter and you monetize it and they're kind of with you, then they're with you, right? You've kind of taken them from LinkedIn a little bit, if you will, and taken them to your own little, ecosystem. And I thought that was interesting. I never looked at it that way of what if, so I get it. I mean, I'm coming around. I'll get
Well,
there with you.
there's a difference between monetizing it by like just throwing ads out there and advertising like products that are crappy. Like there's that version of it, but then
There
there's the
is.
version of it that's like super valuable. And why would someone who coaches individuals or someone who helps businesses or someone who manages reps on a team or an IT person, like why would you not put all your expertise into a package, wrap it up in a nice little bow?
Yeah.
And we underestimate how many people can use our knowledge. Like, I believe I'm helping people with the way that I'm monetizing,
Mhm.
my business. So I think money fuels purpose, and
There you go. I
people's
like
intentions,
that.
yeah, people's intentions of how they're monetizing, like it's your business, and social media is the best free platform. We don't have to do billboards anymore. Like you can just create a post.
Well, let's
Social
get
media.
into your creative post. Let's get into some of the stuff you've done. Okay. And this is the piece where I'm just going, I'm not sure, like if this is new or not. You've done some creative posts where you're like some hip hop music, right? Some you jumping around, and I'm like, and then some posts are kind of okay, and this is it. Has that always been like your case? Have you always been outgoing and this is who I am on LinkedIn and this is it? Or is it taking that confidence you were talking about to the next level?
Yeah, small wins build confidence and acknowledging our growth. And the more comfortable, I used to say, oh, I'll never dance in front of a camera. I used to scoff at people who would dance in front of the camera. I used to make fun of people who monetized
Yep.
social media.
Mhm.
And really, it was just kind of jealousy. and also like these limiting beliefs in my head that held me back from realizing that I wanted to do that. And so I really wonder, how many people there are out there that scoff at it, but it really just takes kind of one person that they can relate to go, oh, like, okay, I guess some of the things I thought about what she's doing aren't necessarily, true.
I mean, I think that's great. Like, I think some of your creative stuff it's really funny. Like, I mean, it's good, it's funny, it's intriguing, it's different. If you're not following Kristine, you should. Like 100%. Like you
Yeah,
should.
right back at you. We have some, you've gone viral. So we have some stuff to talk about, for you too. I'm
It's not about me. This show's not about me. This show's about I want to pick your brain. People don't care about my stuff. Trust me. So on the chat, and we can talk on it if you want. The chat GPT thing. I'm getting to that. The chat GPT thing. You had something. Now look, I haven't gotten into this. Again, this is why I was looking so forward to our call. So forward, by the way, for those listening. I jumped on it. Was it last week? I jumped on it, and I was like, "Hey, where are you?" And you're like, "Oh, Dave." I was like, "Damn it, I got my days wrong." Right?
panic that I felt course through my body.
I'm sorry for that. That's on me. That's on me. You're like,
No, I'm just, it was funny, but I was like, oh my God, I could have sworn that I changed it.
I saw it, and that's my tech. I was like, I saw it. And I was like, that's weird. Why is my calendar showing that? I'm just going to click in anyway. Sure enough, yeah, my calendar was smarter than I am. There's a shock, right? So that's using Chat GPT. When did you start doing that? Was it off the bat when it first came out? You're like, all right, let's play around, or was that part of your 3-week intensive? Let's understand what the hell's out there and just go for it.
Well, I was introduced to it definitely, in the digital marketing courses that I took. So yeah, I learned that skill, from the courses I took and just playing around with it and using it for my clients, and I offer a course
Yeah.
on now. So
Yeah. Do you think, and I think there was something in here on tonality. I'm just looking down to make sure I get this right. You said that we can tell the more we tell Chat GPT about ourselves, and I'm going a little bit deeper here on this one, but I'm just really intrigued by this.
down the rabbit hole.
I mean, I'm just heading. I mean, because to me, I'm like, I'm the techie, I'm the non-tech person who kind of just wants to learn and ask and ask and ask. And it's going to take me 9 times of you telling me 8 different ways to get it, but I'll get it.
But the
Like,
fact that you even want to use tech is amazing, because I avoided my fiance makes fun of me because like months before like I started really using it, he would be like, use chat GPT. He would be like encouraging me, sending me stuff about like, AI and all
here's
this
the
stuff.
link. Here's what you got to do, Kristine. Like, come on
Yeah. And then
now.
finally I finally played around with it and I was like, oh, this isn't as hard as I thought it was. And like, I mean, that's true for I'm not the only one that does this. Puts stuff that we don't know that's new on a pedestal and says it's hard. It's like, no, it's not hard. It's just new. Um, so yeah, shoot, what was your question?
I don't know. But let's understand it. But
Oh,
you
the
think,
rabbit hole.
yeah. So you think on that tonality, you
Yeah.
think that the more you tell ChatGPT about you as a person and understand the background and all your nuances, that do you think it can get the tonality correct to where it'll sound like us, or is there a human element that's always going to be there?
Oh, you can make it sound like you. And you might want to go in and like make some edits. I definitely do that. I don't just copy and paste and not look at it, because there are some things like at the end of the day,
So
technology.
what nuances about you have you put in there that you're like, okay, that's a nuance that
Well, you have
it
to go. So you have to go into
yeah,
just ask questions. You have to go into custom instructions and you
yeah,
have to, write all this stuff in.
yeah,
But yeah, it's also the prompt that you ask, right? Like
yeah,
if you're just give me this,
yeah.
so I think prompting, that's something that's in my course is really
Yeah.
important. There's training. You have to be trained on the right, the right prompts to get what you want. If you're not getting what you want, then your input is sucks.
It's on you.
Yeah.
All right. So talk on this viral post you have. What was and it wasn't on LinkedIn, it was on Instagram, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's a whole nother thing too.
The
Well,
wild of it.
of
Well,
having
actually,
multiple platforms, right?
yeah.
So putting that out there, I mean, obviously you don't know that it does well, and you're like, hey, when I do this, I'm not thinking it's like the end all be all, right? But was that something that you're like, man, it got that much attention? There must be, I'm going to do more content in that direction of that nature.
Sure, yeah. I mean, there's definitely content that does better than others, and there's never just one thing that makes a post successful. It's a bunch of things. Um, so yeah, of course, like you
I
always
mean,
want to
it
be.
was like 1.6 million or something like that you had, or something of that.
No, 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 no. It was just 100. It was like I think it's at like 110,000 now.
Still, that's still good. Still good. All right. And I want to get to this before we run out of time, because honestly, I can talk for a whole lot of stuff.
Oh, I can too. I'm a talker.
There's two quotes that you have.
I'm not in any rush. I know you kind of have your
I don't
time.
have any rush. I don't even know where my family is. The you have choose balance, only follow people that helps and expands your mindset.
Say that again.
Choose balance is something you said. And then you said you only follow people that helps and expands your mindset. Does that go back to kind of what you learned this year in terms of just being confident?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
Okay.
Mhm.
Good stuff. All right. Lynn, let's do this.
Yeah.
Engagement, right? So when's the big day?
I don't know. We don't have a big day.
Oh,
I don't want to start planning, and just with everything, like if we want to have it next year, we'd have to start planning now, and I just really want to enjoy this time and maybe be
true.
engaged for 6 months to 9 months before we even start really considering anything. Yeah, like that's where I'm at.
I mean, that's awesome. Congratulations again. So let's have a little fun here at the end.
But
Okay.
yeah,
Let's have a little fun. So, from a standpoint of, where do I have written down here? There you are. Your two dogs, was it Tess and Honey? Is that right? How are they? And who's your
yeah.
favorite?
Oh my God, come on. I have two cats too. I
How
would
do they
definitely
live together? I've always not known this. How do the cats and dogs, people, they like not like each other? Like, isn't this a thing?
no, like I literally took a picture today of all of them cuddling, all
Oh,
of my pets all cuddle. It's
that's good
so
content. That's good content for tomorrow. If that's not on LinkedIn, I mean, tomorrow I'm gonna be disappointed. All right, so that's that. When
yeah,
you
I'll have to
do
post this tomorrow.
when you do plan the wedding, is there going to be like a table with the odd people at it? Like your second cousin, you have no idea who this person is, and they're single, and you put them over at the odd table, right? Is there going to be an odd table like in the family?
Well, I have a really small family, and like maybe I mean, me, my parents, my two brothers, a couple aunt and uncles, like, and then I have friends, but
You
my
have
fiance,
you have friends. All right.
you,
You have few. Okay.
and but Patrick has a huge family, like 100 people just on his dad's side. That's not
Sure.
including his mom's side. That's not including his parents' friends. That's not including like, and so I'm like, my dad could pay, tradition is bride's dad pays for the wedding. I'm like, maybe if you matched our head count.
See, this is what I need. This is the live feed that we need on that conversation.
Yeah.
That stuff is great. I was
You
there
see the
23 years
commercial where
ago.
they throw the flag and they're like, all right, you said this, like, let's play it back.
Yes.
Let's play it back.
You
Like
guys
that.
got to do that. That would be so damn funny. And I want some like, tag me in there for that idea for your content. By the way, that's funny. That I could see. All right, last one for you. Let's wrap
Okay.
this up on the serious note, actually. So 2024, and I've asked this to a few folks I've already had on. And I really love. I don't know. I just love the question. Um, what's 2024 hold for you? Like, what's your thing that you want to really do in this year? And getting married, no, that's out, right? Like, talk to me on the companies. Talk to me on
Yeah.
the companies. What do you want to do? Or you, for that matter.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Really like the first thing that came to mind was doing less. Like I want to do less. I want to have the freedom to say no to things that I don't want to do because I money, like the need for money isn't like driving me, you know? Because we all know what it feels like in our business to say yes because like we need money in our business. And for that to be the driving factor. And so I'm working on, putting those boundaries now, and building a business the way that I want to run it long term. Um, so yeah, like doing less and just making a lot of money. Every move I make, I want it to make me a lot of money and I don't want to make a lot of moves. I'm not afraid of working hard, right? Like I'm not saying I don't want to work and I want to be lazy, but I just want my business to be filled with things that like I'm on fire about. Because I think that's like truly freedom, in your business is when you can say no.
Love that. Love that. And more time in the hammock, right? Like more time in the hammock
Yes.
hanging out and the
Yes. More time
cool,
with family.
yeah, like the dogs running and that is that a backyard you have or a field or like what is that back there?
Well, we live on 100 acres.
Yeah. How
Yeah.
dude, that would
So
scare the hell out of me. Like, no, there's like a
it's
that's like a
it's
wilderness for God's
no,
sake.
it is. It is. Like we have wild pigs, we have
Oh,
deer,
that's crazy.
we have a like a flock of geese that have been like landing on the pond in the backyard for generations. Um he
See,
grew well
this is
my
content that people need, right? The
Yeah.
flock of
Well,
geese.
should I talk more about it? Like
That's crazy.
it'll be our land and my fiance's grandfather grew up on this land and at one
Really?
point owned thousands of acres in South Carolina. It's really
Yo,
interesting.
that's, I mean, good for you guys. That's cool. I mean, not for me. I want my Starbucks about there, like where I can touch it,
Yeah.
right? So
There are pros and cons. I mean, we're really no, I'm about like like 13 minutes from a
that's
Starbucks.
not bad, but there's also a lot of maintenance, and I'm not down with maintenance or like
Oh yeah, yeah. It's
I'm
a
not
lot.
down.
It's
No,
a lot.
not now. Not now. I'm not down with that at all. All right.
But you walk outside without pants on and your neighbors can't see you. So there's that.
There's that. You
Thank
are
you
a
so
trip.
much for having me
You are a
on.
trip. All right. Well, look, this has been fun as hell, right? And you're gonna come back. We're gonna do this in about. I have
Yes.
like six things I didn't
Well,
get
I
to.
don't know if you remember, but I messaged you like this is probably back in March that I
Oh
messaged
damn.
you. And I was
Uh-oh.
like, hey, let's do a podcast. Like, let's do a collab together. And you never got back to me. And
No
then,
way. You got to
yeah,
show me that message, Christine.
play
You're out
back,
of your mind.
rewind, throw the
You're
flag.
we're staying here after we get done. All right, we're gonna say goodbye to everybody. Everybody's gonna know about this on LinkedIn because that's recorded. I'm not cutting that out, by the way. I
That's good
I want to
content.
find that.
That's good content.
Get out. Oh damn.
Full
Okay.
circle. Listen, what is meant for you will not pass you.
Yeah.
It will not. It was meant to be.
Well, you're on for the next. You're gonna hang out for 15 if I can steal your time. All right. For
Yes.
everybody else, I'm gonna cut everybody else loose. Thank you for being with us, Christine. This is stupid fun, by the way. Okay. I do want to be at the weird table. Okay, and
Okay.
then
You
I'll
can
be there.
be at the weird table. You can at like everybody can have jackets. Everybody can have weird table
Whatever
jackets.
you want, that's fine. I mean, I'll be at the weird table. Like, I mean, I'll fit right in. My wife will talk to anybody. We'll be fine. We'll be over there. Okay. All right. Well, thank you everybody for being with us. Stay tuned. Christine, you're coming back in a while. You're actually going to stay here while I stop recording. Everybody else, be good, be safe, and thank you. Bye bye.